Hello, here is a peaceful walkout through the garden in the middle of August. Zucchini plant is thirsty, but planted really late in the season, so that's why it's only now starting to come up. We have some self-seeded nasturtium plants from last year, and here is our wall of blackberries. That is just such an incredible gift that we've been enjoying all summer. And this bush has only been here for 2 years, and it is a thornless blackberry that I got at Home Depot 2 years ago. Planted two bushes, and we just have so much fruit. It's amazing. So I'll show you. Totally hijacked the hose. I don't really use hose because the fruit is just hanging there. And here's the patch. A mint that was growing there migrated to the sides a little bit because of the water. I think it likes to be more in the ditch where the water is. We ate a lot of chives this year, so that's the remainders. And this is the path. Now we're gonna walk to the first garden. And what we have here is a bunch of cilantro plants, dill, and our poor basil. It really didn't do well. I can't say it didn't do well because it did do well. At some point, it was huge, but then it got this infection again, same thing as last year. So we don't really know what happened. So my husband planted some tomatoes here this year. We have never grown tomatoes in this garden, or rarely, but we had a lot of tomatoes. So those two are actually doing really good. And this is the parsley that I'm allowing to go to seed. So we'll see about the seeds. I always love when things go to seed. The lovage plant was massive, was like up to here, but I cut it down and I was hoping for that to happen, getting some new shots to get that harvested and frozen. Our walking onions are doing really well. Been eating them since early spring, so they are doing great. The cucumbers are just starting to climb up. I have planted them late with the zucchini. I think it was already July. You can see the onions there and the cucumbers. And then we have that tomato plant, the San Marzano. I think that is doing really good. So when we go over here, oh yeah, I should show you the grapevine. The grapevine is doing really well this year. It has tons of fruit, and it kind of has that what I was hoping for when I bought this, that we will just have fruit hanging on the under the canopy. So it is finally doing us. And this grapevine we've planted as soon as we moved into this house, and we've been here for 15 years. So they do take a while to establish. But now, after 15 years, like, I don't think we'll run out of fruit. Let's see what we have in here. There's some new plants that I put in. They're getting covered by the violets. And the elderberry bush grew a lot. Also planted 2 years ago. And it has been almost completely eaten by the robins. They have been coming here and munching on the berries, which is so sweet because they are not afraid of us. So I'm sitting here on the bench and the robins munching on the elderberries. It's a really nice view. Here we have some new perennial flowers and a new kind of sage that my neighbors put on the side of the road. Some freebies, I'm not sure what they are. This plant is really nice. I love that gentle flower, and it flowers for a really long time. I think this has been flowering all summer. And here's my one fennel, the bronze fennel that I received from my friend. I received the seeds, It's not spectacular, but apparently it's a perennial, so I'm hoping it will come back next year. And I don't know what they mean by perennial sometimes, those seed companies. Like, do they mean it will reseed? Or do they mean that it's actually going to come back from the same plant? Because those are two different things. So here we have one calendula. So I think I'm going to take the seeds and spread them a little bit more, because there used to be way more. In the garden, it's just the last calendula of the, oh yeah, one more. But I think I would like more of them. And here's our garlic chives. And here's our leeks. So the leeks have been really fascinating journey. They went to seed when the weather got hot, and they grew those beautiful bulbs. I'm hoping there is some seeds there that I can harvest and plant. But one really cool thing that happened was that as I was removing some of them, some of them have like amazing bulbs. And I thought, plants don't do that for no reason. There must be a reason, but also it's a leek plant, so I bet you it's very tasty. And I tested it in the kitchen, and I made a tofu dish with garlic chives and garlic and regular onion, and I put the leek. And it's the sauce, like a Chinese kind of a sauce I make for tofu. Oh my goodness, it was so delicious. It gave this buttery flavor to the dish without butter being there, and it just had this amazing aroma. So I was trying to look up recipes and find some more uses for it, but there isn't much information about it other than it is mentioned that they are edible and that they are delicacy. They were considered a rare delicacy because I believe, like those practices, those garden practices that used to be very common are not common anymore when everything is industrialized and only focused on the profit and getting the crop for that year. But having a home garden and allowing things go to seed and experimenting with what's going to happen is actually bringing forward new ideas. And I feel like I'm rediscovering something that my ancestors have been doing by finding those leek bulbs. And another thing that I was mentioning in my video was the dill seeds. So I have, let's take a look at those. There's still, this is the cilantro, but this is, there's still a lot of dill seeds that will ripen. So I'm now like allowing them to ripen, and I'm gonna collect them and eat them because they are absolutely delicious. They are so good. So again, that hidden treasure that, when I dish with the dill seeds, um, I felt like I was coming home to some flavors that I didn't even know, but it was like my body remembered it maybe from generations past. And the smell, it was not like dill. It was not like dill at all. It was more like caraway seeds, but gentler and softer. So again, I went on the internet, did some research. What do you do with dill seeds? And oh yeah, people say put it in pickles. So well, of course I knew that already, but there wasn't many other recipes. I'm sure Indian food recipes have dill seeds in them, but I was looking for more like European because this has been growing in my country of origin for forever. And I'm sure my ancestors used it. So I am really excited about this. And that's why I wanted to share with you, perhaps possibly, encourage you, inspire you to also let your garden just be and see, sometimes like those surprises are just like little gifts that we rediscover. There's more dill. Yeah, somehow the dill migrated here. It was originally planted in the other garden. But what I wanted to show you is actually in my last year's fall walkout, I had a shot of cosmos flowers that I have planted. I have carefully grown them indoor, transplanted and whatnot. And this year I didn't do anything. This is what came up from the seeds from the cosmos from last year. And they are like mutants. They are huge. They have those thick stems, like it's like a little tree, like it's got nabari. It's a bonsai. It is incredible. And like you would never get that if that didn't happen on its own. And here is a sunflower, that one sunflower that also um, came from reseeding itself, and the other one is here. So I just love when that happens, when things just happen on their own, and I don't have to work for it. I just let things happen. And of course, in the spring, when those little seedlings come up, my husband's like, "Oh, let's pull it out. We need to plant more tomatoes." And I'm like, "Nope, we need to have flowers." So we have flowers, and I think it's so magical. It's a little butterfly. Hi, I'm looking for kale plants. We have lots. So here is the garden, the tomatoes that we planted at San Marzano. And we have one Cherokee plant, very, very tasty to eat raw. And this one, I don't know the name, I have to look it up, but we planted a new kind because last year we had this infestation. So this one is really interesting. It's an heirloom tomato. It's got some funky shapes, but it's not very tasty raw, but it is incredibly tasty in the stews, in the sauces. The sauces become very thick with it. I think it has a little bit more starch in it or something, because I have never had such delicious sauces. So we made pizza sauce the other day, and I'll show you how funny the shapes are. I think they're really pretty. Look up the seedling name that we bought, and the pizza sauce was just so good. So definitely, like I planted them for eating instead of black semen that I normally grow, but we had the infection, so I figured I'll try new seeds this year. But they're not as good as black semen for eating, but they're great for just in the sauce. And here is our last bed. We have lettuce going to seed. That's going to be lots of lettuce next year. We have a lime basil, new for our garden. Delicious, delicious, delicious. I want lots of seeds from that and save them. And then here's the kale garden year 2. Um, Actually, my husband planted these from seed, and he transplanted them here. And one of the red Russians went to seed, so we're rich in seeds and kale seeds. I was able to share with my friend yesterday when she came visit. And here is the red kale going to seed as well. I think it's seeded already, and then it shot more. So very cool. Sometimes you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna remove it," but if you don't, look what can happen. You can maybe get a whole new thing. Like this thing looked like it was dead, but it's still giving new shots. So we're gonna have a bunch of new kale. And the compost pile, a treasure that came from that this year is this nice kombucha or kombucha or kombucha, one of them. Squash. And something is happening here. I'm not sure if it will have any fruit, but there's a vine. And so seeded tomatoes. We had basil here, but the basil didn't do so great. We harvested enough though to have a lot of pesto. We have a freezer full of pesto already. We don't need to worry about the basil much. So here is the walk through the garden in August 2024. Hope you enjoyed it. How is your garden growing? I'd love to hear from you.